Okay. Hello everyone. We're going to spend some time talking about the tinctures that I spent the last year making. There's 11 main tinctures. I think we have here in front of us 10. Yep. So there's a few missing, like olive leaf, and a few basic ones like that. The eucalypt's not here either. I have discussed the eucalypt in another video. Meditating with the Masters, tinctures as tonics. These are formulas I've made up over researching for the last year. I have looked deep into research. I may not know everything for each one. I'm not sure I'm expected to. I'm pretty sure I'm just expected to give my angle of reality. For instance, there's another one, San Juan or St. John's wort. Now that has no label printed yet. See, I have all these labels printed: dandelion, canela, which is cinnamon, moringa, zishi, which is sour orange, cannabis, because it's legal here in Uruguay, remedio cerebral. So the San Juan is St. John's wort, and you know, that's got the serotonin building substance in it. So that's what you want to take to get a bit happier, and you will feel it lighten your mood. It will feel like it's alkalizing you. You know that feeling of alkalinity where it sort of just lightens your mood? It's got that energy in it. So San Juan, it's not like it's a relaxant. There's some intermediary energy which I can't particularly find the word for. But it's similar to the energy of when you alkalize yourself and you feel it run through from down your arms to your eye palms and to your heart and so on. That's how I feel all foods, and then to the third eye. So yes, I feel foods, anything I eat, down my arm to there, and in my eye and in my heart. And I can feel the vibrations of them. The lady I've worked with here, Veronica, she said she can't do that, and she is a medium. So I have some sort of interesting thing that I can do there. Not everybody is expected to be able to do that, but I have a feeling that if you tune into it, we all should be able to do all these things. All these mystical states of all the yogi, fakir, monk, the shamans, what we're all doing. Let's go through them then. See if I get that focus better. Okay. So here we have the antidepresso mixture. What I could do is get the catalogue, but I think you guys should be able to read that. It is in Spanish, sorry. I will be presenting the English versions of the labels on my Facebook, and I'll post them at some point, so they will be in my pictures. I'll make a special photo album for the tinctures. Now they're called Tincturas Tribal for Hojas, and as you might see from the label, that's a 4-leaf clover, which are noted to be lucky. But if you've seen that picture online, the cannabis leaf is called super lucky. Anyway, so Tincturas Tribal for Hojas just means 4-leaf clover tinctures. So in this one is the zishi, or sour orange, naranja amarga. Now that came from a 100-year-old tree too, so I know that that's quality, and what I've felt from that is going to be what it is. You know, it's going to be fully complexified. It's like an oil setting in a avocado. Sorry, I'm just trying to adjust the focus. It's like an oil setting in an avocado. There's a right time to eat it. And when you eat it at that right time, it's just amazing. Okay, I don't know why it is doing that. Okay. So, there's for the Spanish speaking people. What I can tell you is that Zishi gives you this golden ball emanating from your heart. And this gives you a major antidepressive feeling. So what you do is you get sour orange peels, you dry them, you soak them in alcohol, or you make a tincture in any other method, cold pressing the undried peels I did not try, so this is the method I did. I soaked them in alcohol. 5 times distilled. The more distilled, the more it pulls out the active ingredients. Okay, so Veronica officinalis is the next one there that you can see. It's also got antidepressive effects. Now, really, that one is more of a purgative antidepressive. It's like if you take ayahuasca and you throw up and you purge. That's the energy of Veronica officinalis, and it even says on there expectorant and stuff like that. So you just got to trust me that I can read the energy of these things. And I'm telling you, that's the sort of energy Veronica officinalis holds. It's a purgative sort of energy. I can't remember if it's an emmenagogue. It should say it there if it is. Tuberculosis even. Okay, anyway, let's move me out of the shadow. Sorry, I'll move this way. Okay, so what is the last one? Herba San Juan, which is St. John's wort. Let me just read this. Actually, it's easier for me to read through the camera. Okay. So that one will help with PMS and feeling good. It's not a purgative like Veronica officinalis. It's more of a to make you feel good, and it builds serotonin. It's got the tryptophan, I think it is. So I've got the 30 ml and the 60 ml behind it. So what you do with this is you just take the dropper. I introduced this to some people and they didn't even know how to use it, so don't laugh, some people just don't know about this at all. So you take the dropper, you'd unscrew it, and you take the dropper and you squeeze it and it pulls it up, and you only want about that much. You only want maybe a quarter of a dropper, half. Look, sometimes I do full shots. That's going to be to clear the top of your your GI tract, and your intestines if it makes it there. But the way we want to do this so we don't hurt ourselves, like I consider myself pretty healthy, so I can do a shot now and then. And most people, you want to come into this slowly. These are powerful plant compounds, because what I've done here is taken a whole jar of the plant and extracted the good parts, and the body is thrown away, and you're essentially taking the essence of the plant now energetically as well, and that's why I can sense the different energies of the plants just by taking them. Now, I am a shaman, so some of you may never be able to do that in this life. I'm not about to say that everyone should be able to feel that, but I have a feeling that we can become sensitive to it. Maybe it is just the shamans, I don't know. Next one is weight loss. So, I'm sure a lot of girls who are worried about their weight and overemphasizing it in their life will probably be paying attention right now. Alright, so what's in there? I cannot read that label. That was a stuff up I made the text just way too small. So what I'm going to do is stop the video. I'm going to go get the catalogue. Okay, so we have not printed the weight loss catalogue out. These are just the non-coloured photocopies, and you see we print them out and then you can give them to a store owner who can, you can give commission to sell your product. So I'm selling these for 250 pesos, the small ones, the 30 ml, which equates to $12.50 Australian. And so I'll say to the people, I'll give you 50 pesos per tincture that you sell, and I keep 200 peso, or $10. So very cheap. Actually, in Australia, I bought even smaller spagyric ones, something like 6 or 7 of them for $80, and they were 10 ml. So I mean, in Yukai Happy High Herbs store, for instance, Phoenix's tinctures there, his 50 range of tinctures or whatever, he has heaps, you know, they were $20 and $25 for the mixes. So I'm half price of that. So I find that pretty good. So we haven't put out the weight loss catalogue label, but I do have it here, and this goes to show you how quickly this knowledge is lost and why we should be recording it and digitizing it. So this is, I just called it Mix 1 when I first made it. It's turned out, you know, I made the label and made it all proper. So it's, and these are again in Spanish, Tayapiri, Bolitiro, and Muelda. That top word there, Muelda. So you could stop the tape, go back and have a look at these names, and you could Google them because I've forgotten the equivalent. And I do know one more that's in there, manzanilla, which is chamomile, and that's for flavour and calming. It's not really for the weight loss segment of the tincture. Okay, so you can Google Tayapiri, Boltiro and Muelda to see what they are to help you with weight loss. A few people have said that it's helped them. So it might be something you might want to do for yourself. Now we have a no fumar, which means no smoking and anti-addiction mix. Now for this one, I don't think we have a catalogue label big printed. So from this one, what I remember is that I wanted to put in, and I can see Go to Cola there. You see Go to Cola written on the end there. I can zoom in maybe. Go to Cola. So the number one is, I think it says passion flower from the passion fruit plant. Now this is the premier herb for breaking contraction or 3D cycles, contraction cycles, addiction cycles. I would also put olive and bay leaf, which is called laurel here. Bay, you know, bay leaf, very strong, and olive in here. The reason I put both of those in there is for strength. Go to Cola is more of a purgative energy to it, and the olive, it just will disconnect everything. It's just so bloody strong. It's in that fashion, it's stronger than eucalypt even. So olive is very, very strong. You need a tiny, tiny bit of this tincture. I mean, you're taking the dropper and you're taking like this much from the dropper. A small, small amount. And you're just going to keep taking that till you finish the bottle. What I usually recommend is, if you see no effects by the end of 2 60ml bottles, then stop, because it's not working on you. Things that can help the process of a tincture working on you is fasting, because then, say you fast for just one day, don't eat, the second day eat very little, then start taking the tinctures, and then, you know, don't get back on a fast food diet or anything, but, you know, you're gonna eat something, I'm sure, because we're not all yogis. But the point is, fasting can really help these, and your body will sort of focus on it more, because it's, you know, it's not doing a million tasks of breaking down the food in your stomach and all this. So fasting can really help the effects of these things. So, you know, olive leaf and passion flower are really good to stop any addictions. So here we have the anti-cancer, and I do have the big printout. Yippee-ki-yay. Okay, so on my anti-cancer tincture, we have dandelion, which has the anti-cancer pancreas and prostate. Now cannabis, what I call the king of tinctures, because I could talk about it for a very long time, and one day I will do a 10-hour video just on cannabis. I've actually got about an hour of that footage already created, but I keep getting sidetracked. Anyway, so cannabis, let's just read it like this. Cannabidiol, that's that that plus the, you see the 9-tetrahydrocannabinol there, which is THC, the psychoactive portion. And then cannabidiol is another thing, chemical, you might say, or nutrient in the cannabis. They both have anti-cancerous effect. Okay, so trata various types of cancer. Treats various types of cancer. My Spanish is so-so. And there's anti-tumoral, anti-glioblastoma, tumoral multiform glials inhibition. Cancer for the hígado or liver. The mama, which I have no idea what that is. The colon, the pulmon, the prostate, the pancreas. Lymphoma, the cellular, so also lymphoma. Lymphatic cancers from the lymphatic cells are affected also positively by cannabis. And it's not in the same way as from, say, moringa, where it would just go in and sort of smack the cancer on the head. Cannabis is a little bit more subtle with how it goes in there. You know, you've got things like CBD, cannabidiol, and CBD1 and CBD2, which most of you know about, but there's things like CBG, CBN, and, you know, they work on the cellular level, anti-inflammatory, all this business. There's a lot of good stuff about it. So I really recommend a further look into cannabis. I would have to say, out of everything in the world, that's my favorite herb. Cannabis. Out of everything. In general. I mean, it's cousin hemp in the Cannabacea family. You know, we all, well, many of us know that it has, 20,000, 50,000 textile uses, from creating your clothes to your curtains to your bed sheets. So actually we could be living in abundance for free if we could just grow plants properly and not have a tax system and all this business. Anyway, broccoli. Now, there was a bit of a stir-up of controversy just last night for me on my Facebook when I was posting about broccoli's negative effects of the sulforaphanes, or L-sulforafano. Now, it has anti-cancer effect. I forget what the pulmon is, so I'm going to have to put, I'll put, up on the screen here what these words translate to, what the mama and the pulmon are. I think it's actually, one of them must be brain and lung. Pulmon is lung, because I know it's anti-lung cancer, and I don't know if mama is brain, but I know it's anti-brain cancer as well. So several types of cancers by the cannabis. Anyway, back to the broccoli. So you got the IC3, or the indole-3 carbinol complexes in broccoli that also turn into DIM, which is an acronym, DIM, which is a detox molecule for the human body. So they're the very, very, very positive effects ones. I've heard nothing bad about IC3 or DIM. However, the other night some controversy was sprung up from an article I posted about sulforaphane damaging cells. Now, this makes total sense. I definitely sense it from the energy of the broccoli, especially when the broccoli tincture is a bit aged. You smell the sulfur even more. Sulfur is an acid, it's not an alkaline also, so it also makes sense. Acid stuff eats away at stuff, right? Acid compounds eat away at stuff. Things made out of stuff, like atoms, and, like molecules in your body. So, the sulforaphane is a double-edged sword, is how you say it, because it's going to go in there and sort of surround the tumour and sort of shrink it. Cannabis will have a pretty similar effect, the energy is different. Moringa will just sort of go, yeah! What I'm trying to say is moringa is just super powerful. Cannabis is much more subtle. Broccoli is, how do we explain the energy? Choking. Suffocating. Broccoli has a very suffocating energy with the sulforaphane for the cells of tumours, and that's how it's working, energetically. So that's the energy of broccoli. I've got it. Suffocating. Now they all have a bit of that suffocation. They go around the thing and they suffocate it, but hopefully you can feel what I'm saying. It's more of a putrid suffocation, the sulforaphane, and hence it is also a double-edged sword, and it kills healthy cells. Anyway, let's move on to Dent de Leon. Dandelion. Let's see, we've got that one here somewhere too. Dandelion. Well, I know it's here, I've got to stop the tape again. As you can see, I'm only a budding, buds turn into flowers. I'm a budding shaman. I'm highly disorganized. Doing 10 million things at once. I may not look like I'm moving quickly, but my molecules are whizzing. So I just realized I know dandelion really well, so I can just speak about it. So what I do with dandelion is give it to people with gut problems, mainly. So each of these tinctures, they have similarities, like half of them are anti-cancerous, some of them are, antidepressive. So they have similarities, some of them. And all of them have similarity of clearing you out and anti-parasitical effect. So they have similarities, but what I like to do is explain to people the differences for higher definition. So dandelion is the one I give to people for their gut problems. You can see there it says infirmidades or inflammations, IBS, Crohn's, celiac, and gut dysbiosis or intestinal dysbiosis. Now it helps your articulations or your joints. You see on the bottom it says articulationes or whatever. Can't even pronounce it. So that's like, it's going to go through your joints and help that too. Now it's not going to have the exact effect of Hoshu Wu, for instance, on the lower half of the body that one acts. I found dandelion to also act on the lower part of the body, but I feel everything in my hands as well. Every one of the herbs pretty much. Most of them anyway. But yeah, again, it is pretty lower body oriented, and no wonder it helps with the gut. It's also brown food, so when you look at the dandelion root, you can tell it helps your bones, and you can see vitamin K and calcium up the top there. It says Vitamina K Y Calcio. So there's vitamin K and calcium. Yeah, so it's really going to help your bones, and you look at the dandelion root and it looks like a bone. But then it's also grey on the outside with probiotics and like B12 and stuff, which is created by microbes, by the way, on the outside. And so that's why it's also really good for your gut. And it's not bad if I leave a little bit of dirt in this tincture, because some people out there, and I'm definitely one of these people, would say it's a good idea to let your kid eat a little bit of dirt when they're younger. It tunes you into the environment, it sort of talks to your immune system and strengthens it, prepares the body for the world and their life. Anyway, so that's what I do with this one. I'll tell people to take this if they have a gut problem, or if they want their skin and hair to be a bit better. It works on the skin, this. And the calcium in this is super. I don't know how to explain it, but in the bottom of the tinctures you'll see calcium deposit, and it's clearly very good calcium because of plant calcium too. I don't know, it looks really good. It looks like very assimilable, so your body will assimilate it very easily, better than a pill that you buy from the pharmacy or the fake apothecary, which may be very toxic as well. It's been sitting on a shelf just rancidizing, and it's not a fractal compound. This is fractal. This is alive. It's got the plant spirit in it. So it's fractal, meaning that it's a living thing rather than a rancid isotopy, okay? Or a dead substance, which is what the death dealers in the death industry are trying to deal to you. Stop being stupid, stop taking the pills. Now, Canella, we do have the big printout. So this is cinnamon. Check it out. That's why it's in the top 10 antioxidants. Look at that red pigment in there. Reddish, maroon, dark. Nice, hey? So that's why the canella are in, the cinnamon is in the top 10 antioxidants of the world, along with turmeric, and right up the top is, of course, cloves. But when I found out cinnamon, a bark, you know, I started learning, was in the top 10, I was shocked because I started learning about pigments and how they are antioxidants, and, you know, I never made a tincture of cinnamon. I never saw that beautiful red color. And check it out. Look at it. So I never saw that before, and then I realized, oh, okay, well that's why it's in the top 10. Look at it. It's pure strength. It's a very dark pigment, and so pigments are antioxidants, in case you don't know that. That's the basics of what an antioxidant is. It's a pigment. It's going to go in there and antioxidize your body, clean up free radicals and stuff. Well, they're not always necessarily... Well, they will have pigment, actually. They will always have pigment. So the cinnamon... Sorry, I just got distracted. My computer turned off. Yeah, so cinnamon. Alright, so cinnamon is a whole body regulator. Now you can see here at VIH, that's HIV. It's just the backward syntax compared to English of Spanish. TOS is cough and arthritis. It's good for all three, definitely works. The tincture can be a little strong for your cough though. It can actually make you cough more. So you just, you might want to put it in water, then it would help. You can do that with these tinctures, you know, you just take a little drop, put it in your water, if you don't want to just take it full strength like that, and that's fine. It's going to wash through you probably even further like that. So it's a great strategy to put it with clean water. Just a few drops even, or half a dropper. Then you can probably put in a full dropper if you do it with water. Okay, so it's a way to also increase your dose. It says here, regulation del azúcar en la sangre, the blood. So blood sugar regulation. However, it's a whole body regulator. It's got chromium, the highest of any plant in the world of chromium. And chromium is super good for your immune system. So it has a different energy than magnesium, the spark of life some people call magnesium, and it has a bit of a sparky energy. Chromium, well, it's chrome, you know, it has that sleeker energy about it, and it'll slip into areas in your body, and it's very whole body regulating. That's the way I would talk about it, and just did. That just happened. So, Rica Chromio, yep, immunological. Okay, and yeah, that's right. This is what I give this to people for. Diabetes help. Controls the blood sugar, and diabetes 1 and 2, well, most people will know about that. It's a blood sugar problem and insulin. So this will really help with it, and I mean really. I chew on cinnamon now every day for the last year. I make my own little toothpicks and then I just chew on it and stuff and eat the whole little toothpick. And about 1, maybe 2 toothpicks a day. They're like fat toothpicks though. So that's what I do with my cinnamon. I also am on cinnamon water for the last year as well. So I will get the cinnamon sticks, not the powder that you buy back in Australia. I can't remember if I ever saw cinnamon sticks sold anywhere, but here in Uruguay you can get cinnamon sticks, and for like $7. So these tinctures have been incredibly profitable as well. The profit margin is really good. It's a great business and it's ethical. And you know what? How's this for adding to profit? And in the right way, abundance, not just, you know, oh, I want profit. In the right way that, what was I saying? Oh yeah, people said to me that it was actually too strong, so I was actually able to, you know, water it down. I didn't put water in it, I put more of the alcohol in it, and it sort of has a watering down effect on the essence of the compounds you've pulled out of the plant. And they actually wanted that, so when that happened I was like, huh, okay. You know, it made my original jar like, you know, 50% more I got out of it. So there's another couple of tinctures, so it's a very good profitable business as well, and it's ethical because you're healing people. People don't even know about these. I give these to some people and they have no idea what's going on. They don't even know how to use the dropper. They've never used one or seen one or something. I don't know. You know, a few years ago I didn't know much about them at all either. I'd seen them, but I didn't really understand them much. So now I'm getting much more professional at it. So I've been doing this for a few years, thinking about this, you know, mulling it over in my mind. And here I found a book and it showed me some stuff, and I thought I'm just going to start making these now. And it also all happened synchronistically for me, so I know it's, you know, the way it was meant to be. And nothing is a mistake. So reduction in the inflammation of the heart, yeah, it'll give you that. Yeah, and Alzheimer's, I can feel it affecting Alzheimer's and Parkinson's, but I can feel, even when I look at the word, I can feel it. Okay, so it's going to help you with Alzheimer's, the cinnamon. Okay. Ayuda, Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. Don't forget. Now, HIV, I don't know if it's going to cure it, guys. One of my moringa tinctures did cure HPV, human papillomavirus, which there is no medical cure for. Ask any doctor. Medical white coat doctor. So her anal warts fell off from my moringa tincture at full strength. The moringa tincture was soaking for about 5 weeks and it was the strongest one I had. So I'm not too surprised it worked. And so she was a very happy girl. Alright, we're going to move on because the battery is running low. So that's moringa. Now, moringa is let's see. Here, where are we? So, antibacterial, fungicidal, inflammation, anti-anemia, and epileptic, anti-tumoral, anti-hypertensive. I want to point that out to you. Definitely is anti-hypertensive. Glycemia, arthritis, definitely. Now, hepaprotractor, yep, most definitely. Respiratory system, yes, because it has its own esters in there, and that's going to clear your lungs. Now, the bit I want to get to is past the beta-carotenoids, and we know moringa as the drumstick tree, and it's a superfood. It's the epitome of what a superfood is. It has 7 times more potassium than banana. It has so-and-so multiples more than normal foods, is the definition of a superfood, in my understanding and in my opinion as Shaman Dr. Kauenberg. Now, this is where I wanted to get to. Effective against Epstein-Barr virus, herpes 4. Okay, I don't know if you can see that. Herpes 4. And HPV, human papillomas. Okay? That's the part I wanted to point out. There's the Z-She. It's also good for your gut, anti-nervous, and a calmative. It says calmante there, a calmative on the Z-She. Naranja amarga. Cannabis. We're going to have to talk about that another time because the battery is running out. I have called it Cannabis is King. I hope you didn't miss that when I said that like 5 minutes ago. Okay, the remedy cerebral. Okay. Look, cannabis just helps so much stuff. Just take it. Don't even worry about what it helps. It'll probably help whatever you have. Remedy cerebro. Yeah, I may be a little bit biased, but it is that good. Remedy cerebro. Let's have a look here. Okay. So we've even got syphilis, I see, on there under the go to cola. Okay, I don't know what all these mean, but I know that it's good for the cognition, or the turning of the cogs. It'll do a little bit of a sort of cleaning, not greasing effect, but a cleaning effect to your cogs. Pretend your brain is a bicycle for a moment. Ulcers, stomach ulcers, it says there. Fatigue mental, yeah, it will do that because it helps the cogs. Epilepsy, so epilepsy. Diarrhea, asthma, lupus, and infections of the skin. Alzheimer, which I've spelt wrong. Tuberculosis, UTI, urinary tract infection. Don't know what that is. Shingles, leprosy, or lepra, cholera. Now listen, you might say, what, it's not going to cure leprosy, Ben. I didn't say it's going to cure it, it may help it. And the reason I left it on there is it's better to maintain the knowledge than just go, we don't have any evidence because we haven't like researched it enough. We don't know, or we can't figure it out, so therefore it isn't. Like the idiot medical paradigm goes about things. So it's better to preserve the knowledge, in my opinion, even if it might not cure it. Maybe it helps, I don't know, but it's on there for a reason. Someone has had some experience with it. Okay? Rosemary, Romero, the garden herb you can just grow from cuttings for free off the street. Just go grab someone's bush, take off one branch and grow it into a plant. Now that is anti-brain cancer, by the way, and it's a cellular regenerator, yeah, definitely too. And now the biggest part of it is focus and clarity, the rosemary. I mean, that's proven by Harvard. Even by smelling rosemary, you increase your memory by 75%. Look up that Harvard study, Harvard University in America. Yeah, ginkgo biloba, anti-inflammatory, circulation help, and in the brain. And yes, I do get that energy from the ginkgo. What's that say? Beta amyloid protein. It must do something with the beta amyloid protein. It says there, but I can't read all of that. I might make an English version of this for all the English people. But, you know, I think this is still going to be a helpful video anyway. And also with Alzheimer's help. Now, whatever we just mentioned before, I can't remember, what was the herb we talked about before? What was it? Was it moringa? Whichever one I mentioned a couple of minutes ago, that was, and I really pointed out the Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. Oh yeah, canela, the cinnamon. That will help it more. I can feel cinnamon's energy helping Alzheimer's more than the ginkgo biloba, but they're in different effects. It's the cinnamon has a really strong effect. This is like a stripping of bad stuff. And the this one, the ginkgo biloba, I can sense that it has more of a building effect. I've always gone on about stripping and building in health. I think a lot of people detox too much and then don't build themselves back up again. For instance, chlorella, which is very similar to spirulina, is the stripper, but spirulina is more of the builder. Okay, so you'll be able to understand these things when you really look into herbs and stuff for a few years. You'll start to understand how they're all different, and then maybe one day you suddenly tune into their energy. I hope that for you. Okay, so yeah, that's the main ones, the main tinctures. And then, like I said, there are a few more. Like I have a eucalypt one. That's what I would put on my toe fungus or something like that, or a skin problem. It might also help with to cleanse. It's a very cleansing one, eucalypt. Now olive is, you know, going to go in there and just wreck shit. It's just super powerful. So olive I'll also put, for antifungal I mean. So I'll also put olive, say if I have a toe fungus or something. Maybe not on eczema though. Eucalypt I would put on eczema for the first burning to stop the itching, and then you put something like calendula cream on it. So again, you got stripping and building. And this is Benjamin Cowenberg from www.consciousazine.com. Conscious Magazine, consciousazine.com. Bonus segment. I just forgot that I have this shampoo that was also sitting up there in the labels. So this one I didn't come up with, but I should have, because all the ingredients were in front of me. But Veronica actually came up with this one, and it was one night, because she had anemia when I first arrived in Uruguay, and after a little while we thought, what can we put on your missing hair to bring your hair back? And it certainly did, and all her students suddenly wanted my shampoo. Or our shampoo. So I can't read all of that. Look, you look into things like the lauricomonolaurin there. Monocaprin also. And the capric acid. Acido caprico. Okay, so look into those three in the context of coconut oil. Okay, and it's also antibacterial, 51% being that lauric monolaurin, or the lauric acid. Okay, that's that 51% of coconut oil being what does it say? Antibacterial. Yep. I was going to say antimicrobial as well. Okay. So yeah, it's going to help with many things. So I just put everything, all the main things that coconut oil will help you with on there, just, you know, to teach people. Yeah, even acne if you use it right. Okay, what else have we got in here? Aloe vera. And then I put just random essential oils in there, like it might be oregano oil or something like that. One of those type of oils. Like, you wouldn't put banana oil in there, you know what I'm saying? You're going to go for thyme oil, oregano oil, maybe even rosemary oil, but I'd stick more to the oregano oil. That would be really good with this recipe. Aloe vera. Now, yes, I've put the ormes there, the ormus factor. Definitely aloe vera has that non-oxidized ormus fifth dimensional reaching sort of bioplasmic feature about it. I don't know what adulgaza is. Some of these words in Spanish. Diabetes, hepatitis, intestinales, osteoarthritis, ulcers in the stomach, definitely asthma. Something about anti-skin radiation, I think. Yep, and it's a general tonic for sure. What I actually do for my favorite hydration drink is I mix aloe vera. I get the inside of 2 aloe vera leaves. I cut out that inside gelatinous part. That makes the water that you put with it stick to your cells. Then I also put in a little bit of lemon because that's compacted hydrogen in there and very hydrating as well. But you don't want too much lemon because then it can make you want water as well. So if you make the mixture right, it will be the most hydrating drink you've ever had. Aloe vera, the right amount of lemon, and water. Okay. Tiny bit of honey maybe, but I can't really do that. I get too much of a parasitical reaction to sugar. My jaw starts hurting, and because they connect, you know, to your stomach, to the back of your throat, parasites in your stomach, things like candida and so on. Okay. I don't know what ME is. But yeah, look, the point of it, oh yeah, and that's the main point of it. Hiera, or iron gel, in the gel. So it's a way of getting iron when you're anti-anemic and you lose your hair because you don't have enough iron in your system. You need to eat more cacao, raw cacao, what all chocolate's made of, not cocoa, cacao. the raw form, nibs or whole beans. That's the highest iron food in the world. You could eat berries, which will give you a liquid sort of form of iron, such as raspberry. And then my favorite for the iron, for some reason, is the what's it called? The Mora is called back in Australia. It's called mulberry, black mulberry. And then you also want to get on parsley. So cacao, black mulberry, parsley, and then aloe vera if you've got anemia. Okay, so that's a very important part of the aloe vera, the gel iron, because it's just sitting there on your scalp and slowly sinking in. Okay, it's a really good way to get the iron directly to the hair follicles and in that region. Okay, so if you're in Uruguay, you can call Veronica there on her number there to get any of these tinctures. That's her cell. I'm probably going back to Australia now, so you can contact me on Facebook, Benjamin Cowenberg, Couwenberg, Cowenberg, Benjamin Cowenberg, www.consciousazine.com.